Welcome back to day 2 of the Intel Extreme Masters PyeongChang 2018. We are going into game number 4 between Poland and South Korea. Elazer leading 2-1 against Zest with some pretty phenomenal play so far.
Yeah, going for that goal base was pretty gutsy, and I feel like Zest definitely read it right, did the right thing, but it's just that defense was a little bit lackluster. As much as in the previous game, it's hard to see what he could have done better because it felt like he was already doing so well. In that one, I think we clearly could see that perhaps he shouldn't have moved out.
Yeah.
Maybe he underestimated the attack a little bit, misread it. And in StarCraft, one single mistake at this level will cost you this kind of game.
Absolutely the case. StarCraft is oftentimes a game about who is truly decisive, and the decisive players win so often. If you make one misstep, it's like, bam, ton of damage done. Well, here we go. It's going to be map number 4 here. Zest has to take this, or Elazer moves on to the round of 4. Acid Plant will be our map, and in the bottom right, our Polish Zerg leading 2-1. It's Elazer. In the top left, his opponent needing to win this game or he is out. Korea's Zest.
And Zest, it seems like he's a great player and he's playing excellent, I would say, in this tournament, but sometimes he misreads something just a little bit. And I feel like that's what happened as well when he played against Stefano. He did a move out in that one game that we saw yesterday where he thought that there was going to be a locker push coming. So he tried to delay that, which is a great thing to do against locker push, except he met mass Hydralisk and Banelinks in the middle of the map. And you can't be out on the map against this kind of army. Pay the price instantly by losing that game. In the 2 games that he lost here, it kind of felt the same thing with that last one where he saw what was coming but just misread the true strength of that attack that was coming his way by just moving outside of his wall, you know, outside of safety. If he had just sat inside of it next to all the shield batteries, I think those shield batteries would have kept everything alive a little bit better, but maybe, I mean, obviously it's easy to say again, you know, we see everything.
Yeah.
Maybe he was worried about the amount of Ravagers that could be made if he sat inside, because then he would have been trapped inside of his own wall and mass scores if I could have landed, but it wasn't that many Ravagers, right? I think it was like 2, 3.
Well, this is one of the hard things about StarCraft 2 is you kind of try to figure out what your opponent has, and depending upon what they have, you should be moving your army in a different way. You should be standing all your troops here or there, or inside the wall, outside the wall. All of these things, force you into different positions, and army positioning is, one of the most challenging parts of this game.
You know, the saying, prepare for the worst? I feel like in StarCraft it doesn't apply. It's more like prepare for exactly what the opponent's doing and you're gonna lose. Don't prepare for the worst. Last game Zest did, and there was not mass Ravagers. There wasn't the worst thing that he could have fought if he was behind his wall. And guess what? That might have cost him the game.
It definitely could have. Now, can he actually go ahead and take this one? It looks like he's going with a very standard opening. He's making that Stargate, so we'll be seeing probably a Phoenix and an Oracle. We'll see which order he wants to make them in. But after that, generally, he goes into a very standard strategy, which is what I think Elazer is most prepared to fight against. So I'm a bit nervous here for Zest.
Yeah, especially like if he tried to do something like, going to charge and stuff straight away. Elazer, as much as we've seen him go for a massive attack early on in one of the games, where he had a lot of Hydralisk and Lurkers, he's also able to hit those early game timings that are all so dangerous at the same time. I almost feel like the best way to play against Elazer is almost to focus so much on the scouting. Play safe, get a lot of Immortals, go into Storms, don't overmake probes, because there's going to be an attack coming. It's not gonna, he's not going to play like Serral, where Serral is one of those Zergs that would take, 4 or 5 bases, go into Hive, be comfortable droning up like crazy. No. Elazer's comfort zone is with those mid-game attacks, at which he's so good.
You're very right. Every player in StarCraft is so different, and this is Elazer's type of play. Like, he wants to play in the middle of the game. He doesn't necessarily want to have 200 supply, but he doesn't necessarily want to attack super early like maybe we see Bly do more often, right? He wants that kind of middle-ish army, and that's one of the most complicated areas of the game.
Oh, this could be bad. The Phoenix might pick up on that Queen, and there's nothing that can attack air right now. In the main base of Elazer, completely caught off guard by this. He's going to lose a lot of drones.
A huge mistake coming down here from Elazer, very late on that Spore, and to lose 6 drones this early, that is a very significant amount of damage done by this Oracle. Normally, you can only get 2.
He was fully ready last game.
Yeah.
But,
and he saw the Stargate and everything this game. He just...
yeah, this is a bit
I'm
weird.
not sure. That was weird that that happened like that.
Yeah, the Queens were out of position for just a moment here for him. Even skipping, actually. Oh my god, that's...
Oh my gosh.
One of the Queens is again going to be picked up. And this time it's 2 Oracle, 2 times the strength. They're going to one-zap these drones now.
Kills 3 more. He ends up losing the Phoenix, but I would say it's absolutely worth it. When you kill drones and a significant amount of them, or probes, or SCVs, you know, any workers early on, it gets more and more painful to your opponent the more you kill. So sweeping in there, killing some more, he's done a lot of damage, and it looks like he's going to do a massive attack follow-up.
And what does happen when a Zerg loses this many drones? They either start making a lot of units to attack, or they want to replace those drones. I think Zest is kind of hoping right now that Elazer will go into a lot of drones to rebuild his economy. Yeah. Again, Zerg is that one race where your main building produces either economic units in drones or attacking units in roaches in this scenario. So if Elazer was to do this, he might just die to the counterattack there. But Elazer is actually mixing in attacking units in roaches and drones right now, but I think he's over-making drones a little bit to try and catch back up on that walker count and not making enough units. The previous time that we saw this Warp Prism and the Archons and the Charge Lots, he had a lot of roaches. When I look at the roach amount right now, it's not that scary just yet.
With the 2 Queens here, I think he'll be able to push it back for now, but there's definitely going to be some more units warped in from Zest, I would say. He is taking his 3rd base, though. Zest, seeing this many roaches, knows he's probably not going to kill Elazer right now, but just the fact that Elazer had to make units instead of drones slows his economy down even more.
You know what I'm surprised about? It that Zest didn't warp in more across the map, because Elazer went into 12 drones after seeing a warp prism on the side of the map. Imagine if Zest had made like 7 Zealots and then went for an attack, but Zest wants to play it a little bit safer. He doesn't want to be, I think, dragged down into the kind of game that Elazer likes, which is lower tier units and a lot of fights. So he wants to get ready for the potential upcoming attack that we see a lot in the mid game from Elazer. Great micro, by the way.
Wow.
When I try to do this, I lose both my oracles and almost nothing.
Most people do. 5 more drones going down and losing no units here on Zest's side of the map. Just continuing to keep that pressure on. Lurker Den coming up too.
Yeah. I think this time he's definitely going to want to look at a better defense here. Usually it would be on his natural and 3rd base that he would be sieged or attacked into, and maybe cut probes a little bit earlier than you would usually to focus more on making defending units. And like I said, High Templars, Immortals really going to be key. Even adds a 2nd Robo to get even more Immortals. If you're facing a full ground army from a Zerg player as a Protoss, and you can go up to something like 8 Immortals, usually you're in a pretty good spot, I would say.
Absolutely. Immortals, like, and that's actually a very good number to say. Like, when you have about 8 Immortals, Zerg ground units just die. Immortals just pack such a punch. They just, every volley they shoot is killing multiple Zerg units, so it becomes very difficult at that point.
The Multi-Scarapace was actually made. He's morphing Overlords! Oh my god, he's gonna drop in the main. I just mentioned that the 2 avenues through which Elazer could attack was either the natural or the 3rd base. He's like, you know what? There's another avenue. Straight into the main base with some Overlords.
This is actually a new strategy that we've seen coming out of Korea quite a bit recently, where you'll have one group of units that goes up and attacks, and then you load up the rest of your units and just ferry them directly into the main base.
Oh my god, Zest might spot this. He has a unit nearby. I think that might have been an Oracle, but he moved it at the last second. The Observer spotted the units on the right-hand side, but those are the decoy units.
That's right.
Elazer is hoping there's nothing in the main. Something might meet these Overlords. Oh, this is crazy. Oh, he barely misses it.
Just barely missing these flying in. These could deal a massive amount of damage.
He might be able to recall, but you have to recall almost instantaneously with just enough units to deal with this, and then deal with the units that are out on the map. And I see Lurkers morphing as well right now. Is Zest going to be able to defend this attack? If not, he's going to be eliminated here.
Well, he had a few units actually waiting here. The Oracle flies in, but that'll just be picked off in a matter of seconds. He needs to get more units back here. Another Oracle actually flying in. A ton of Immortals charging up right now. He left a lot of units on the third base as well, defending all against this perfectly, I would say.
But no, there is no anti-air. These Overlords making themselves at home here, kind of running around. The Lurkers are not going to set up siege. All of the Immortals are in the main base. These are the main units that could try and deal with these Lurkers.
Yeah, he doesn't even have detection here right now. He can't see those Lurkers. He will go ahead and throw some Psy Storms down, maybe clean them up. And there you go. He kills off most of the Lurkers here.
His Overlords still looking to try and find some damage themselves. If Zest can defend convincingly here, he'll be very far ahead and win this game. But right now, it's Elazer trying to do more damage, kind of plummeting his supply here for a little bit. A Void Ray is being made to deal with his Overlords inside of his main base. Now the Natural that are flying around towards the third base.
Zest has lost most of his Archons and most of his High Templars here, so this is doing some damage from Elazer.
But he has a lot of Immortals.
Yeah, he certainly does, and that is a big problem indeed.
Oh, the Void Ray is going to prevent these Overlords from flying into the Natural here. Could do a lot of damage, start taking them out. Elazer doesn't really know where to go. He's still trying to set up some sort of siege with the Lurkers, but they're going to get jumped on top of here in a second.
Uh-oh, a massive flank coming out of Zest. The Lurkers trying to run away. Zest surrounding them and actually clears out all those Lurkers. Very expensive units, but Elazer drops again on this third base, doing a lot of damage to the probes.
He needs to send the Void Ray here to snipe these Overlords, as the ground will be chased away here and picked up into those guys. And he's going to do just that here, and I think with that, Zest might finally get the defense he was looking for, but look at it. Elazer staying on top of his production, still remaking an insane amount of units in the meantime.
Yeah, Elazer just does not turn off his unit production here. He's taking more bases during all of this as well, which is very important, but he... You know, well, actually, he has a good amount of workers when you look at it, Todd. He's up to 68 workers, and he killed a lot of Zest workers. So Zest's economy is not on the same level as Elazer's.
Elazer is actually struggling a little bit, spending all the minerals that he has accumulated here. Gas-wise, he's not in the best spot, so it's hard to keep on making Lurkers consistently. I think here, ideally, he would love to have like 10 Lurkers to actually set up a proper siege on that third base. But Zest has done a good job of holding on, but it's not like he's out of the woods just yet, because Elazer still has that very threatening force here, kind of running around. With mostly the Lurkers being very scary.
A lot of Immortals mixed in here as well. He needs Psystorm. Okay, we see the High Templars coming up from behind. Those deal a massive amount of damage to things like Hydras and Zerglings.
The splitting perfectly is very hard because he does not see the army movement of Elazer, but he's doing a good job of sending units left and right to try and counter this. This army of Elazer is going to be stuck in this mid-grinder of a wall there.
Ooh, a very risky move from Elazer. Not really working out, but he does attack the third base here once again. Unfortunately for him, Zest completely ready for it.
Oh yeah, Zest is crushing this army right now. Whatever is being thrown at him is holding on against Elazer, now going into an infestation pit. I think he's accepted that this hasn't worked, and I think he might want to go into the next stage of the game. But I mean, with the position that Zest is in, against a Zerg stuck on Lair Tech, if you can get close to maxing out, usually you can just win the fight with ease, as long as you have a lot of Immortals and High Templars, and I think he's got quite a bit of both.
Yeah, these units that Elazer is using, you know, he can make them really quickly. They can get out there and get some damage done, but overall, the longer the game gets, we see Zest continue to add super powerful units like Immortals, Archons, and things like this.
Well, what's the Immortal count, actually? He's got 9. Oh my god.
We were talking about 8, and now he's gone one step above.
He's getting a 10th one, I think, as well right now. If Zest was to attack sometime soon, it's going to be so hard for Elazer to actually hold on. Only the Lurkers would give him a proper chance to do that. And the threat of a counter-attack, which is why he's looking to try and drop right now, just in the case he was going to be attacked sometime soon.
Well, Elazer has to keep him busy. Elazer right now is actually teching up. It looks like he wants to go into Broodlords, but already Tempests are being made by Zest, and this is the perfect follow-up unit. He knows that Broodlords are the only thing that really could scare him right now, so he's getting ready for it.
If Elazer picks up and drops the main base here while he attacks on the top right-hand side, the top right-hand side army hasn't been spotted, which is a big deal. Zest,
he doesn't have many units there.
That. He can walk back. I guess he's not that far.
Yeah, Zest's going to go ahead and send half of his army up there to try to deal with this.
Feedbacking the Overseer here. I mean, why not? Not much else to do. The Immortals trying to deal with this Hydralisk army. Charge loads are going to be warped in to help and defend. Elazer is being defended on that side, but on the other side, he jumps up top of the army here of Zest, kills some High Templars, reduce the count of Immortals.
Yeah, a few good Psystorms going down there, but Elazer's starting to break through this army. He kills off that Void Ray, And he's continuing to attack on the other side as well. Zest losing so many units here. Elazer might be able to take this game.
How is Elazer doing this? I really thought that Zest had too many immortals for him to be able to fight, and High Templars ready to storm, but Elazer's micro in multiple places at once has been on point.
I think here what we've seen from Zest is he sent all of the immortals at first, but no High Templars to the top right, and the High Templars are really the support unit that you need with the immortal. And then, you know, when he finally sent them, that attack on the bottom did a great job.
And he's going for adaptive talents. These lurkers are going to burrow even quicker now. It's funny how most Zergs here, they will feel like they have to go into Bulldogs. You know, like it's too late to make Hydralisks happen. But Elazer is just so good with Hydralisks that he's like, you know what? +3 missile attack, 16 more Hydralisks, more lurkers. I'm going to keep up with what I've been doing because somehow it's just working. And he has so much more right now. 116 army for Elazer to 68 for Zest, who's been doing a good job of defending, but perhaps not good enough. I cannot believe this. Our Polish Zerg here might be about to move on to the semifinals, eliminating a Korean player, which would be a huge upset.
It truly would be. You know, we see the Koreans win most tournaments, so to have Elazer knock one out already is a big deal. Now look at this attack. Attacks on two sides right now. That fourth base absolutely going to go down.
He's going to drop the main base. He's going to attack on the top right-hand side at the same time. Elazer is everywhere and Zest is getting overwhelmed.
Now this is a Zerg player. Elazer attacking on 3 different sides, overwhelming Zest absolutely everywhere. Zest trying to send in some zealots. He's making carriers. He's trying to get his best units out, but Elazer might kill him before he can. The Hydra's cleaning up a lot of units here at that third base. Some great side storms go down. Zest continuing to try to hold on.
Yeah, it looks like he might be able to defend eventually, but even then, he would be in so much trouble because Elazer has his economy up on the other side of the map, double the worker count here, pretty much.
Look at the bottom left here, Todd. Look at all that purple. Elazer is everywhere. He has half the map, so many bases, his production out of control as well.
Over 100 army supply lead here for Elazer. I mean, Zest, he's gonna try to hang in there. This is a very important tournament, but I think Elazer's done it. He has too much. He swarmed this Protoss.
This was just fantastic play today from Elazer, and GG is called. What I think you could call a slight upset in this tournament has now occurred. Elazer knocking out Zest, a multiple-time champion, one of the greatest players in the world for many years. We saw his story earlier. You know, just about what this means to him, how he's practicing much harder. He wants to win, but no good this time. He goes out in the round of 8. So, that was a wonderful victory that we saw from Elazer. James, what do you have to say about that?
Very impressive stuff, it seems. That game number 4, especially with all the ability to, I guess, negate the terrain, move his army around with those overlords. Very, very cool control from Elazer that I thought he was in a bit of trouble at the start of that game number 4, but he was able to bring it back. It
really seemed like it, but Elazer is so great at moving around the map and getting that damage done, just utilizing the units that he has.
The Wizard of Hydralisks, I think we should call him at this point. Like, he's a lot of Zergs, I think, out there, they use Hydralisk and they're like, okay, this unit is really not that good. Not Elazer. He's like, I love Hydralisks.
Right,
That's all I want to make all day.
What does Zest have to think after that kind of loss? I mean, Elazer, with a lot of those circumstances, you know, we saw Zest try some kind of proxy buildings, putting them on the map so he could kind of surprise his opponent. All these kind of shenanigans coming out from Zest, but it wasn't working out.
No, you know, he just won with a kind of dated strategy that he brought back that Elazer wasn't prepared for. But other than that, Elazer's attacks were too strong. Just this constant aggression that he's putting on, even though it seems like Zest is pulling ahead, eventually Elazer knows how to break a Protoss.
And Elazer moving on to the round of 4 now, Todd. A very impressive result from him, especially taking out one of our South Korean opponents.
Yeah, honestly, we shouldn't be surprised by this guy anymore. He took top 4 at the Global Finals a while back, 2 years ago.
Top 8 again this year.
Yeah, and he just keeps on impressing and impressing. He trains at the highest level. He, you know, comes over to South Korea to train consistently with some of the best players in the world. Like, sky's the limit potential was for Elazer at this point, and he might be able to take it all the way here.
He might be. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Time now to head over to the interview as Elazer moves on 3-1 against Zest.
Congratulations, Elazer. You're now at the top 4 here at the Intel Extreme Masters PyeongChang, and this is your first top 4 at any Intel Extreme Masters, so how much more satisfying is it to do so, taking down a 2-time GSL champion in Zest?
Well, it feels amazing as always. It's not particular way, like it's not a better feeling than getting a top 4 at like BlizzCon or something, but yeah, it feels pretty good, especially beating Korean. That's what I always want to do.
Well, let's talk about the series, particularly on Acid Plants. There was so much action going on, and you showed such relentless aggression the entire map. In the end, what do you think it was that broke Zest?
Well, I think overall he played like very well. I mean, he had a lot of units and stuff like this, but throughout the whole series, he was always had problems with positioning. I'm not sure what happened there, because I made enough mistakes that he should have won those games. Like Acid, I had very bad macro, I think. Like I was floating 2,000 minerals or something, but yeah, he was always off position with army and he was losing too much. That's why I won.
Well, now you are in the semifinal match, and you'll be facing either Scarlet or Serral, 2 very good Zerg players. Against Scarlet, you're up in head-to-heads, and Serral, he's dominating in the head-to-heads a little bit. So how do you predict that that'll go, and who will you face?
Well, recently it wasn't that bad versus Serral, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't even know who I want to play, because Scarlet is also very good at ZVZ. Probably me, Scarlet, Serral. We are all like top 5 ZVZ. Maybe not even outside of Korea, but overall. So yeah, it will be quite scary. But I have some builds prepared. I think Scarlet is more dangerous when it comes to like strategies, because she's more unpredictable, and Serral is just stronger mechanically, and that's what I'm scared of. I hope he will choke.
We'll find out soon enough, as that is the match coming up in just a little bit. But congratulations again, and best of luck.
That's right. Poland, a very passionate nation when it comes to StarCraft 2, now finds themselves in the round of 4. Very well represented, with Elazer making it through that. And actually, that guarantees us a Zerg in the grand final, because you have Scarlet, Serral, and Elazer up in the top there. And we are joined once again by Rotterdam and Nathanius. Elazer taking out Zest Nathanius with a 3-1 scoreline.
That's just awesome. You know, we came into this match, we talked about the confidence, and Roddy made sure to mention, you know, the danger of the overconfidence, but seeing Elazer step up to the challenge and live up to the hype that has been building around him throughout all of 2017 and coming into this year, it's just great. And it's a great rebound from his performance at Leipzig, where he had to run into Neeb super early in that bracket.
I honestly think this is the most impressed I've ever been with Elazer, and that says enough, because I know he won in Valencia, he made it to the playoffs twice in the global finals, but taking out Zest here in South Korea at such a big, prestigious event like this Intel Extreme Masters, and the way he did it as well, this was not a weird or wonky victory. This was some really, really solid stuff. And then even to mention that game 1 started off so rough, you know, he was surprised. The one thing that I mentioned, as he feels so confident in knowing his opponent, he got caught off guard, and then to bounce back the way he did in this best of 5, I really have nothing else to add. That was absolutely amazing stuff by Elazer.
Especially that 4th game. It was phenomenal.
I honestly felt that he was running out of steam with his build. He had a rough start as well, you know, to go a little bit more in depth. He lost 5 drones or 6 drones against that first Oracle. That's way too many. Then he lost 4 more drones, 3 extra drones and 1 Spore Crawler. That's minus 10 drones, yet he found himself in a position where, okay, this is a playable game, but Zest was set up quite strong. Elazer tries to multi-prong. He's making stuff happen. I loved all the drop non-stop action. And at one point, I really felt that he's making the best out of everything he has, but I feel like it's time to transition. Then he makes 1 run by in a natural, and okay, now it's really time to stop. But he doesn't stop. He keeps on going, and 9 Immortals become 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 very quickly. Amazing game. I loved it, and I loved the performance. Also out of Zest, don't get me wrong, because I felt that Zest did a fantastic job in defending against all those drops. But Elazer was relentless. He didn't stop.
Very rare a player like Zest has rings ran around him in that 4th game. Now let's take a look at the brackets, see exactly how things have gone so far, with Elazer finding himself in the round of 4. And as I mentioned prior, that means it's a Zerg guaranteed in our grand final, as Scarlet and Serral will be going up against one another here in a few moments' time. And that is a trio of powerhouse Zergs, Nate.
Yeah, it's I love that Elazer mentions that he shows a lot of respect to his opponents because he recognizes how good they are. And Scarlet, especially for me, can be a bit of an up and down player here and there, but she has always been known for her dominating Zerg versus Zerg and her ability to thrive in chaotic situations, which the Zerg versus Zerg matchup usually becomes. It's very fast-paced. It's very aggressive. Things are flying all over the place. And I think that sets up the possibility for an awesome upset of Scarlet against Serral.
Yeah.
But either way, Elazer's got his work cut out for him, whoever steps up to the challenge.
Well, it's time for me now to head on over as we do have a little bit more of a glimpse into what's going on. Pig, one of our resident Zerg experts, has been extracting what he wants to show us here in this series.
Yeah, you know, it was a fascinating series. We can jump straight on into an instant replay and actually take a look here at some of the details. We're going to look at the pushes, which really were some of the deciding factors. We saw twice Elazer opt for this Queen Ravager Zergling push. We can have a pause right about here, and you can notice a few key moments. Zest here with very good defense. He's managed to use these force fields, which have trapped those queens in on the left-hand side, and at the same time, he manages to block out this entire section of Elazer's army on the right-hand side over there. And if we resume, then we can watch. He's allowed to eliminate every single queen on the left-hand side before the right flank of Elazer's units can close in on him. And this was what allowed Zest to take this game.
Right.
But as we go into the next game, which we'll be hopping into, we can see an almost identical assault, this time on what is probably an even easier to defend location. But if we pause right there, we can see the force fields weren't quite on point. This force fields blocking off this choke point came down a little bit late, and as a result, all of these units get surrounded outside of his base, and we just kind of saw Elazer start to run away with the game from there. So if we resume, we can watch the next few moments, and there was also another couple of key things here with sentries being warped in range of the Ravagers, and they launched their corrosive biles. We're pausing on it right now, and you can see that at the top of your screen. Watch there as we resume, and you're going to see these sentries taken out almost as quickly as they are warped in. One goes down there. We're going to see another one go down, or another two up here in the top right of our screen. These two sentries, once again, warped in range of the Ravager. A little bit of a misplay from Zest, but Elazer so quick to react with the bile. We take a look at that. Two more sentries went down for free. Yeah. And from there, it was just a never-ending flood of Zerg. So great play from Elazer. He kept finding the holes in the defense, and it was nice to see the sort of difference between perfect force fields and ones that are just slightly off.
Used to be a very old trick that Zergs would take bases further into the map to then launch assaults from. And we don't get to see it as much as we used to way back in the day, right?
Yeah, I mean, these days, it's a lot more of a defensive layout from the Zerg players, but Elazer's been bringing back some of these older pushes. He loves the Queen Ravager Zergling, so good to see him pull back an old one and make it work.
Sneaky, sneaky. Thank you very much, Pig, for that update as we take a look at the whole tournament as a whole. We're going to go to a short break here, ladies and gentlemen, for the Intel Extreme Masters PyeongChang, and when we return, more round of 8 action here from South Korea.
The Intel Extreme Masters PyeongChang is an event held in advance to the Winter Olympic Games of 2018. StarCraft players from